Let's stick with the Kawhi theme. He made some interesting comments last night about his old home in San Antonio. Of course, much to Skip's dismay, Kawhi only played 9 games last season for the Spurs because of that quad injury. Then he got traded. Let's take a listen to the Claw.
Thought I was either faking an injury or didn't want to play for a team. And that was disappointing to me that was out in the media. So me just, going through that and, I just knew that I have to make myself happy and no one else. And I have to trust myself. And it doesn't matter what anybody has to say about me. I know who I am as a person. I know how I feel. Just be able to win this championship this year is just something special for me. Because how the last year everybody was looking at me. And I stayed true to myself. And I had a great support system. And once I got here to Toronto, they understood everything. And the move kept moving from there.
All right, so Shannon, what did Kawhi prove this season?
He proved that he can lead a team to a championship. He's a superstar in the same category as LeBron James and Kevin Durant. He's of that caliber. He's cut from that cloth. He also proved, Skip, I think he wanted to prove it bothered him, it hurt him that people actually thought he was faking. And it's hard for me to understand how people can think that, given having been a professional athlete, knowing where a lot of these guys came from very similar backgrounds that I did, is that you work all your life to get into this situation. And now you get there, now you know what, now I don't want to play. I'm good, I've made it this far, I can just sit back and rest on my laurels. That's not him. I will go to my grave believing that Kawhi Leonard was hurt to the point that he felt he couldn't play. And you said that Kawhi, in the 7 years that he was there, he was always hurt. Well, then why did they put him on the hot seat then? Why wasn't the problem when he complained about his ankle? Or you said he complained about his elbow, he complained about his back. No one put him on the hot seat then. It's just now, all of a sudden, Kawhi's been the same. The one thing I know about this guy, I don't know him personally, but watching his mannerisms, he's like clockwork. You can set your clock by him. You know exactly what you're going to get.
Yeah,
he's not up and down. Mm-hmm. He's right here, Skip. Mm. He's steady. Now, you might not like that steadiness because you like to see the range of emotion. You like to see some ebbs and flows in a person, but that's not what he is. Mm. Skip, he proved that the way he went about it, he was right. They didn't believe him. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going to make anybody else happy. I got to make me happy. And at the end of the day, that's where a lot of people mess up, Skip. They try to please everybody else except themselves. And in the process of trying to please others, you make the one person that should be the happiest the most disappointed. That's yourself. Kawhi says, nah. He got to a place, they believed him, they gave him load management, whatever that is now, Skip. He took 22 games off. He rewarded their faith, their belief in him by delivering a championship. You know what it hurt so bad for you and the Spurs? Because you know your championship window, when he walked out the door, it closed behind him.
Wrong. Very wrong. So my turn?
It's your turn.
So you say, why didn't they put him on the hot seat before that 73 games he missed last year? Because they gave him break after patient break after patient break. You need 20 games off? Take 20 games off. You need 10 here? Take 10 here. You need 7 games off? Take 7 games off. You don't want to play the back-to-back? No problem. They babied and coddled him for 6 years up until the 7th year, when finally his Uncle Dennis took over all of his affairs, business, professional affairs, and convinced him, because Uncle Dennis lives up in New Jersey and loves Knicks Nets, we got to get you out of that small market. We got to get you out from under that thumb of Greg Popovich. And so what he proved, big picture, was that in today's NBA, you can get your way by quitting on the team that made you the player that you are. Because remember what he was when he got drafted. No. Nobody would have taken him with the 15th overall pick. He was a shy kid known as nothing but a defensive stopper, who was an underrated talent that R.C. Buford said, I can make something out of that kid. And they got him with the shot doctor of all shot gurus, Chip England. And they completely rebuilt his shot. And then Pop and Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker taught him how to win, how to be a pro, how to handle himself. And how did he repay them? By exaggerating some thigh bruise injury because he just wanted out. And once they pushed back on him after a while, they gave him about 30 games off. It was probably 30. It was into January. And finally, the most conservative, patient medical staff in all of sports said, hey, we're sorry, but we're going to have to publicly declare you capable of all basketball activities. And they did. They went public with it. And it put him on a hot seat. And he pushed back by saying, I'm hurt. I'm hurt even worse than you think I am. I'm going to get a second opinion. I'm going to get a third opinion. I'm going to go to that orthopedic. I'm going to go to that physical therapist in New York. And they're going to come here and they're going to tell you I'm really hurt. Baloney. And Tony Parker finally had the call out of call outs because Tony Parker had ruptured his quadriceps tendon in the playoffs the year before and had rushed back to try to make a playoff push. And he finally, after he confronted number 2 in that locker room that day, and it was late March, he went public before the San Antonio media and said, my injury was 100 times worse than his. This is Hall of Fame quality. This is high character. Tony Parker doesn't call anybody out, and he called that guy out. Manu Ginobili doesn't give up on anybody the way he gave up on that guy. And trust me, they were gritting their teeth last night because no one has ever been less happy for an MVP than those two and Tim Duncan were for that guy. Trust me.
But Skip, but here's the thing though, Skip. If you said throughout his first 7 years, he was always hurt. But guess what happened? He always came back. So for him not to come back after suffering all from that he's come back from all those injuries. Every time, elbow, back, knee, foot, whatever the problem was, he came back. This time, he was unable to come back. It didn't really dawn on you, like, man, something must be really wrong with Kawhi because normally when he's injured, he always comes back.
They're all minor. What was wrong last year was Uncle Dennis. That's the reason he didn't come back. He said, let's force a trade. Let's force our way. That's how today's NBA works. Let's force a trade. Way to go.
If you don't mind me asking, Skip, you said Uncle Dennis lives in Jersey and he wants to get him around the Knicks and the Nets. But it seems that all the reports that I've heard that Kawhi's preferred destination is the Clippers.
Well, that's
so how the hell does that work?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to end up doing. Who knows what he's going to do? All I know is I want to wish Toronto well. I hope you enjoyed him because he's about to quit on you just the way he quit on the Spurs.
Whoa. Skip, don't do that. Don't do that, Skip.
Skip,
don't do that. No, Skip, don't do that. Skip.
And he got you your championship. He got it, but that's the end of that deal.
The Larry O'Brien trophy is still sticky from Champagne. Yeah. You won't even let him clean it up. You're already ushering him out the door. Let Drake celebrate. Well, the curse of Drake is dead.
Well, I hope they enjoy it now.
Let him have it.
It's not going to last.
Why? Skip, hold on. Wait a minute. Skip, it hasn't been 24 hours, and you're already trying to rain on the parade. They got a parade scheduled for, I think, next week sometime, and you already forecasting rain. Let them celebrate. Let it be sunny for a little while.
You going to go up there? Drive one of the cars?
I might.
Yeah?
I might. Hey, hold on, Skip. You let me do my part from Toronto? I can get Drake on. I can bring Kawhi on. I can get Masai Ujiri on, although he might be dipping too. You hear that offer that the Wizards are prepared to offer him?
He's got a deal of a lifetime.
Ujiri certainly deserves some credit here.
Let him have it. Let him have his moment.
To get them to this point, from firing Coach of the Year Dwayne Casey to letting go of DeMar DeRozan and bringing Kawhi in.
It all worked.
It did.
Way to go.
Up next, did Clay's injury cost the Warriors victory last night? We'll discuss that in just a minute.